I'm sure we all imagine the same things when we think about spring turkey season. Turkeys gobbling up on every ridgetop, coming in loud and proud as they strut into our decoys. And they're probably coming into a lush green clover food plot because that's what we see on all the hunting shows. It's kind of conditioned into our brains to see that when we imagine the perfect turkey hunt. So if that is the dream turkey hunt, then what's the nightmare? What do we turkey hunters fear most? That just might be dead silence. Silence during turkey season is one of the hardest things to do. Are there even any turkeys here? Am I wasting my time by hunting in this area, or are they just being quiet? Are they keeping their mouths shut? Well, in this video, we're gonna go over 3 tips for hunting silent gobblers. But before we go over these tips, do me a favor, and if this is your first time on my channel, hit that subscribe button and make sure you click that bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a video. I'd also like to thank Legal Heat for sponsoring this video. Legal Heat is a provider of concealed carry courses along with some other courses like wilderness first aid. I think all of us in the outdoors need to have at least a passing level of first aid skills because you never know what's going to happen out there. So if you live in a state that requires a permit to carry concealed, or even if you don't live in a state that requires it, I definitely think you need to have some sort of training, because not only do you need to know how to use that weapon, that firearm, you need to know when is the proper time to and the legal ramifications if you do. So check out Legal Heat for all of your training needs. And so the first tip to hunting silent gobblers is to try and pattern them like you would deer. Hopefully you've spent some time scouting leading up to this season opener, or maybe you've got some cameras out so you can see when and where turkeys are using your property or the property you plan to hunt. This information is extremely important if the turkeys aren't telling you where they are. If you know where they like to roost, just the general area, you don't even need to know the specific tree, but you know where they like to roost, and you know where they show up on camera, or just by glassing them, you know they like to come in this area around this time, you can set up a plan to intercept them. So in the mornings that the toms just aren't gobbling, they're keeping their mouths shut, set up in an area where those turkeys are known to be, and then just wait. Patience is the key here. You're relying on the most recent information to get you in front of that bird, not his gobbling. So like on my grandparents' farm, if I can't make it happen right off the roost, then I know there's a particular food plot that they like to come in. They'll come off the neighbor's property that have cattle, and they come through this food plot around 9, 10 o'clock almost every morning. So if I can't make it happen right off the roost, I'll just go down there and wait them out. So the second tip to hunting silent gobblers is to start off with very soft calls and change it up. So let's say you've been hearing a tom gobble and then he just shuts up completely, goes completely silent. Well, one mistake that a lot of turkey hunters make is that they just start screaming with their calls. That tom could have been walking in slowly, and if you just start screaming right off the bat, you're gonna blow his ears right off his head. And we want our shotgun to do that, not our calls. So start your calling sequence off softly. Give it a few soft yelps and then listen for a little while, because he may have worked his way in right on top of you and you just haven't seen him. Then if you don't get a response, you don't see anything, then make it a little bit louder and then just kind of go from there. You'll also want to change up the sounds if you can. You should always have the option to have a few different calls. I have mouth calls, I've got box calls, and I've got a pot call, but I've also got multiple different strikers for that pot call. You just want to change it up a little bit. If you've been using a mouth call this whole time, go to a box call. If you've been using a box call, go to a pot call with glass on it or something. Change up to a different striker. The point is you're trying to hit different notes, because for whatever reason, what you've been doing, he just doesn't care about. And you might hit a frequency he likes and just start screaming his head off again. You never know. But the point is, just change it up. But whichever call you switch to, again, you got to start off softly and then work your way up in volume. And the third tip for hunting silent gobblers is to do some walking. When all else fails, do some trolling. See if you can strike up a gobble. You need to do this as stealthily as you can. You don't want to get stupid and skyline yourself on a ridgetop or get lazy in your strides. Also pay attention to any sign you might find out there while you're trolling. Some scratchings, feathers, anything like that. That might be a spot you want to set up in for a while or come back to on another day. Move slowly for at least 100 yards and then use a shot call to try to get a response. A crow call, something like that. And then if you don't hear anything, then just wait a few minutes and then move another 100 yards or so. If you've walked the whole route you wanted to walk and didn't get a response, turn around and do the same thing backwards, because turkeys just have this way sometimes of showing up where we just were. And if you still don't get a response, like the last tip we just talked about, go set up in a spot where turkeys are likely to be and just wait it out. Just because they're not gobbling, they're keeping their mouths shut, does not mean that there aren't any turkeys there. We only get a few short weeks to turkey hunt, so don't let quiet woods keep you out. Don't forget that patience is the best way to kill a turkey, so stay out there as long as you can. You will get one eventually. So that's 3 tips for hunting silent turkeys. If you like this video, chances are you're gonna like one of these turkey hunting videos over here, so give them a watch. If you have more turkey hunting tips you'd like to share, share, leave those down in the comments below. Hit that like button if you like this video, share it if you found it helpful, and make sure that you are subscribed so you can stay informed.